You're listening to Chum Chat Podcast.
Hello, welcome back to Chum Chat. What episode? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Episode 5. We're flying. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave a like if you like it. Today, I've got a good friend from University of Portsmouth. KD, how are you, mate?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
No worries. Pleasure to have you, mate. I'm good. We haven't seen each other since... When was the last time we saw each other? Over a year.
It was 2020 though. It was just like, I think a week before we go in lockdown. Because we had a photo shoot together. And it was like literally February 2020.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember it was cold. We did a photo shoot in Portsmouth outside the Commonwealth Quays. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
The Spinnaker Tower. Yeah. Okay.
So then, yeah.
About a year and a half, something like that. But yeah, how you been? What you been up to?
Great. A lot of changing in life. I moved from Portsmouth. I live now in London. I have a day job. I'm working as artistic director as well.
Nice.
Different stuff. I'm trying to learn London. So I'm always looking for different stuff to do. So when you gave me the opportunity to do something like that, I'm actually a very huge fan of the whole project that you're doing. I watch all the podcasts. I follow you and your brother on your vlogs page as well. Everything is like so well done. Amazing job. And I was like, I'm gonna take the opportunity, talk about a very interesting topic, I think. Podcast is like another love that I have. Like I love listening to podcasts. Like it relaxes me, like before to bed, before to work, like on the way to work, like different stuff. So I think it's gonna be very interesting, conversation.
I'm the same with podcasts all the time now. More than music.
Yeah,
I used to be more music, but now even in the gym sometimes I put a podcast on just to relax me. Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm happy that you're a fan of everything.
Yes.
Makes me more relaxed, which is good.
And if you start an ASMR page as well, I will be even more excited.
I've never liked that. Well, I've never tried it.
It's a huge community though.
Yeah,
it's a huge community, and like if you want to try and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, maybe.
Bigger views,
yeah.
Might have to give it a go.
Yeah.
Maybe after this, when you go after.
Exactly.
Well, cool, man. How did you find the transition, Portsmouth to London?
Well, Portsmouth, I love Portsmouth because I studied there. It's like my second home. Now I have a third home, for London, because I moved from Greece. Very different. Portsmouth is very slow in pace, and life is more quiet and relaxed. Not so many opportunities of what I want to do to work in arts.
Yeah.
So that's why I moved to London to start pursuing my career. Yeah. London is always for me very busy. I think for most people. If you want to work for something, you should definitely visit there. They're great and people. There are so many different communities of people that you can meet there. Yeah. So very eye-opening as well for me. Yeah. Every day living there, I learn something new.
That's wicked. I'm proud of you. Well done.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you too.
Oh, thank you, mate. Cheers, man. Appreciate it. What are we talking about today? What did you choose?
Okay, so we're gonna talk. I don't know if sometimes if I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Chantal in the first one, she was very. She didn't even look at me. She was like, "I'm talking to you."
Yeah,
it's the audience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the audience. Hello, audience.
Hello.
So we're gonna talk about as well is the awareness month for men, or as I would like to say as well, because we're living in a very evolving society. I think we should not only consider men, but people that use pronouns or identify with he or himself, him. It's very important as well, because we need to keep constantly educate ourselves. So we're talking about toxic masculinity. How it affects us. We're gonna give different pointers. We're gonna share some figures that we found from researches, and I think it's a very interesting topic to talk about. Anyone if you're interested to learn about someone who identifies as a he himself in your family, around society, anywhere around, maybe it's a very good opportunity to listen, watch this podcast. I think it's going to be very interesting to share. Yeah.
Wicked. I think it's really important as well, because I think everyone can relate, has toxic masculinity somewhere in their lives, no matter what culture or religion. I think it's there no matter where you look, sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And what I want to add here as well is like, okay, our main topic is toxic masculinity, but it's not always like bad things in life. What I believe, they transform sometimes. They're like bad energies that they go inside in another stuff and they make our life difficult. Either it will be like enemies that we have, or a terrorist attack, like things like that, fears that we have, they connect each other. So I think toxic masculinity is our topic, but then within that we can explore different points in life that we meet.
Yeah.
And it's because of toxic masculinity.
I think once we get the ball rolling, there'll be loads that will come off of toxic masculinity. There'll be loads of different like homophobia, everything, loads of things. But is there any way you wanted to start?
So I think it's very important, as we are here and we're talking about that, is interesting because I found after research, as we said, like our topic is toxic masculinity, but let's see some factors, some pointers from figures that either lead up because of toxic masculinity there, or because people they don't understand it's because of toxic masculinity and it just happens in life. So I'm just gonna we can put like the links maybe for someone who is like more interested, but
for sure, if you send me them, I'll put them
so we can put them like in the description. So I'm just gonna read them from here so I don't do any mistakes as well. So in England, it's not about like we're talking about England because it's like here where we live, it's a universal topic, cultural.
It's good for if we do narrow it down to England and UK, people can, relate to that. They know how big it is, so the figures will make sense to them because they're from there. So it's a good idea.
So I'm just gonna read through. In England, around 1 in 8 men has a common mental health problem, such as depression, anxiety, panic disorder, or obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. So we're not saying like toxic masculinity is because of these problems, but it can be a factor. Men aged 40 to 49 years old have the highest suicide rates in the UK. Men report lower levels of life satisfaction than women, according to the government's National Wellbeing Survey. Men are less likely to access psychological therapies than women. Only 36% of referrals to the NHS talking therapies are for men. So men or people that identify as himself, they don't use therapies. They don't talk about their problems. That's what the figure says here. In 2017, nearly 6,000 suicides were recorded in Great Britain. Of these, 75% were men. 75% is a huge percentage. Suicide is the largest cause of death for men under 50. The male suicide rate for the year 2020, so imagine here we have to consider that it was a very struggling year, 2020 as well, and 2021 as well. Like we've been, our generations and the older generation people, we've been like through very difficult years, and obviously COVID was a factor about that. But still, the male suicide rate for the 2020 was 15.3 per 100,000, compared to the female suicide rate of 4.9 per 100,000. So what we're gonna discuss later as well, actually we need to make some disclaimers. Sorry, we didn't say that in before.
That's fine.
But it's very interesting to say that these topics we are discussing here, obviously I have done my research. I don't want to come unprepared here. But at the same time, we're not professionals talking about these topics. We're just sharing our own life stories and experiences, but some figures that help us to understand more the situation. And as well, because we talked already about the word suicide, maybe it's a bit late, but we should make some trigger warnings that we're going to discuss, except like toxic masculinity, masculinity in people in general, again including people that identify as he or himself, bullying, we're going to talk about, self-harm, anxiety, mental health, identity discomfort. All these things, they can connect to each other. Sometimes we don't understand it, but they're under of a bigger umbrella, if that makes sense. So we said that we're not a professional as well. We're just sharing our feelings and experiences from life, and we're making this video as well to educate people and to inform as well. And as well is a video to in any way be a hate video for anyone using the cloak of toxic masculinity to be a member of the society in general. So if you think if you listen to some things in this video podcast that are gonna characterize you, it doesn't mean that you're doing something bad in any way. The world make you this way. The society make you this way. It's just a video as well for people maybe to understand better how to talk to boys, men, people who identify to as he himself. Like maybe you're gonna have a brother, maybe you're gonna have a father, a friend, a boyfriend, husband. It's very interesting to see how to react on situations like that from now that our culture is changing, our society is changing as well. And I'm going to, talking about too long, but I think it's very important to make these topics as well, because when I'm watching a podcast or a video on YouTube and there's like no triggers and there's something triggering me, after a while I'm just getting like, oh, why they didn't tell me from the beginning? I want to know.
No, that's very.
So I just skip the video or I just continue watching because I want to learn. So something that is very important that we're going to discuss about is the connection that we have both in toxic masculinity as part of the LGBTQI plus community as well. Still in all around the world, but in the UK that we live in, people cannot easily recognize and separate gender from sexuality, sex, and all the different aspects of that. The way that we look doesn't have to be connected with our gender. The way we identify doesn't have to be connected with our sexuality. These are completely different stuff that we keep forget, and we just see someone outside and we call him a bro, we call him mate. We use like stuff like that because they look with the characteristics of a male has, but maybe inside them they want to be identified as a she/her. So we don't know. So it's better to generalize in this. So I would like to talk about homophobic attacks that we can find because of toxic masculinity. It's very interesting because it talks about the figures for this year 2021, because we're talking about we were in lockdown, so these figures were like running, but still people after this bad year still want to have like some negativity in other people as well. So in June 2021 was the worst month in the past 10 years for homophobic hate crimes. Offenses continue to remain high in the following months, with a total of 955 attacks between July and September.
That's ridiculous.
it's the thing is that a lot of places in the world still, and in the UK as well, people are still scared of going out of COVID or like getting out of. They don't even go to work.
Yeah.
They go out though, and they harass people. Yeah. They bully people, and it will still continue if we don't raise awareness.
That was June this year.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's ridiculous. That's almost gone a bit unnoticed.
Yeah.
That's really shocked me actually.
In
the last 10 years as well.
Yeah, imagine. So that's the thing, like when other people, like for example, I used the lockdown time for me to try to make a better version of myself. Yeah. Other people wanted to take this time actually to go out and cause some violence to some other people. Mm-hmm. And this is not nice. This is not fair. No. That's why we should educate ourselves more and more every day. Something else which is continue connecting very much so toxic masculinity and social life, society. Rape. This is 2017 figures. 31% of young women aged 18 to 24 report having experienced sexual abuse in childhood. This is shocking. I'm coming from a smaller country that during the summer after the COVID, it started a situation of continuous genocide of women. Boyfriends, men, husbands, sons, they were killing their mothers, their sisters, their wives.
In Greece?
Every week there was a different report on the news that it was saying another woman was killed. And I deeply believe that this is because of toxic masculinity. This is because of patriarchy. This is because someone said to this young boy that he will be the strong one, so he can eventually kill his wife after some years because he's the strong one. And it shouldn't be happening. That's why we're trying to raise awareness and talk about topics like that.
When was that genocide then? When did that happen?
Sorry, I used the word genocide. It's like a big word, but I was trying to explain that it was like a big scale. It was like around like 20 women were killed. Like,
but by separate, it wasn't by like a group. It was separate.
Different occasions happening. But every week you had like something different, and you can still hear that.
And there was always a woman that was being killed.
Yeah. It's terrifying. It's not less. It wouldn't be less important if it was a guy getting killed. No, not at all.
But the fact that it was men killing women,
constantly, it was like why it's happening so much. So this is for the figures. While we were discussing that, I think it's very important to talk why we have this. Why we still have everyday toxic masculinity in our in our lives. So it's definitely part of patriarchy. Why in a lot of countries, why in a lot of houses, the father has to be the one that has like the say in the family. Or if you live in a household of brothers and sisters, then the boy can stay outside longer. I grew up in a family that it was a little bit like that. I have two sisters. They were staying always a little bit of the back. The boy had like more free time, or I never had curfew.
They did.
My sisters always had to be home at a specific time. They never told me.
Do you think were your parents more worried? Were they more concerned about their daughters? Is that why?
No, I don't think they had this idea. I think they had the idea that nothing is going to happen to me. So maybe they were worried, more for my sisters, what you're saying, but they were less worried about me. Like nothing is going to happen to me. And things happen to me. Like some things that I cannot talk too much about, but things that are made my personality how I am today. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you have a boy or someone in your family that identifies as he himself, they can still get hurt from people. They can still get bullied. They can still get harassed at school. They can still get raped for other people that identify as men or they're not men. A younger boy can be raped from a woman still. But because we in a patriarchal society like that, we grew up with the fear of the boy crying, the fear of the male being like the innocent one, then no one cares about the boys in the end, about the guys. No, we just leave them growing like that, being the warriors that we want them to be, but they're not. They're just like innocent souls when they started growing up. Vulnerable. They don't know the life. They don't want. They don't know what they're gonna meet, and no one is protecting them. The school is not protecting them. Education, I think, is not protecting them at all. In other countries as well. My country didn't do anything to protect me from school. I had constant bullying at my school. The teachers didn't care. My classmates didn't care. They were bullies because obviously they had like something else worrying them inside. But they saw this happening. They thought that bullying me was okay because probably they saw their father bullying someone else, or the grandfather or their friends. But this is not the right circle. The circle should be a circle about be honest and being kind to every different individual. It doesn't matter if you are a boy or a girl, a he or a she. You should be kind and polite with everyone.
Absolutely.
What other factor that is very important, and it's a huge part of toxic masculinity as well, it's religion. I'm not going to go very deep in that topic because religion is very important, is sacred for a lot of people. But definitely because religion doesn't evolve with society.
Doesn't like to adapt with anything else. Sticks to its ways in that sense.
So if you are a part of a religion that there is a man and they have like to be married and have like 7-10 children, people are still following that.
Even if they don't particularly want to.
What we were discussing is that in certain religions, the men, people that identify as he himself, constantly put pressure in their lives. They don't have time to breathe. They just finish, they grow up, they finish school, and they have to get married.
And they have to go get the job,
Get the job, have the house for the wife. What else? Where else we find toxic masculinity? And it started from way long back. I think doing my research as an actor now, an artistic director, watching a lot of old stuff, retro stuff, vintage stuff. There's so many problematic things. That's why we're just seeing in platforms now, series or movies are getting cancelled because there are horrible things said. The icons that we used to have in the movies, they were portraying this toxic masculinity. So obviously, because we were seeing on the series, on the movies, on the commercials, we were seeing these like macho men, strong men, muscular, being the great guy always. That's why all the normal people wanted to have. They want to be this guy that is the superhero. And it's still happening now. We still have superheroes that they're too much masculine. They are not that masculinity is bad, but they're still expressing this toxic masculinity. A lot of companies are using that. A lot of companies are using that as an advantage for their commercial. How they're gonna attract the macho man, how they're gonna attract the more, how you're gonna smell in order to be the right guy. To get the girls, to get the drinks, to go out, to be the best one. It's still like, and I think is like, I had this idea and I wanted to reference it because it's very important. We need more Tom Hollands as Spider-Mans rather than Thor's Chris Hemsworth, I think. I prefer Tom Holland. I want my superhero to be that.
Yeah.
So I want this Spider-Man to save me, not the Spider-Man 20 years ago.
Why?
30
Why?
years.
What is it?
Because
about
he's
it?
more open-minded. Because we see that he's not scared of expressing his feelings.
Yeah.
We see that he's not scared of talking openly about what his fear is. Because the superheroes make like this. This is all metaphoric, very symbolic stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very important that it makes our life.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm talking too much about that.
That's fine.
Nowadays, what is problematic? The social media.
Yeah.
Pornography. During sexuality is a big part of everyone's lives. If someone says it's not, I think it's lying. But maybe some people, they try to or they choose or they don't feel the need for sexuality. But during these years that everything is image, body and sex sells more. So what are the figures that are presented more? Are the masculine types, are the bigger guys, are the guys that are going to spend hours at the gym, hours and hours at the gym. And then if you go at the barbershop, like I was at the other day, and you ask them, or they will actually, they will always have, if a very masculine guy with a great body, it's nothing wrong with going to the gym, nothing wrong with having a great body. But if you talk with them, you always see that they're never satisfied with themselves.
Yeah.
They're never satisfied with their body.
Too addicted.
They have the greatest body. It looks amazing. It looks like an ancient Greek sculpture body, but they're not satisfied because the culture, someone else in the society,
looks better than them.
looks better than them.
I'm not saying I've got an amazing body, but from working out in the gym from 16, 17, just as soon as you start, you're like, oh wow, yeah, he looks good. But then you just see someone else or someone on TV, like you say in films or whatever, and you're like, hang on a minute, I want to look like that. And it becomes like a drug. It's like you need to go more and do more and eat more.
But you don't have to be like that.
No.
You are beautiful in your own way. You're beautiful in your own. All sizes are beautiful. There are people that they like some specific stuff, some other specific stuff. But that's what I'm trying to say is because of toxic masculinity, because of like the imitation that we have these people doing, following, like as you said, I want to look like this guy. I want to look like this guy. They're putting themselves down. They're pressuring themselves every day, maybe doing something that they don't necessarily enjoy. And now that I live in London as well, it's so much the competition is crazy.
Yeah.
The competition is like who's going to have the best Instagram and going to look the most muscular in order to get the girls. Listen to me something, guys. Girls don't care about the greatest body. Trust me. I've grew up with a lot of girlfriends and 2 sisters and an amazing mother. You can have a girl or be with the girl of your dreams with words and your personality. You don't need the greatest look.
There might be some girls out there that go after just the body, but they're not the one for you, maybe.
This is problematic to say.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm saying that because we are saying about someone that some are this way because of that. Maybe it's an additional factor. Maybe I'm gonna see someone and because of the personality and because of their appearance I want to get to know them because something clicked. Always the first thing that we saw is the out appearance. But then the out appearance is gonna gone and you will need to talk with that person with something. So the girls as well will need something to talk about. So I think very deeper, even if we say, oh, we want the looks, deeper is the conversation, is other stuff. Obviously,
personality is the key.
Misinformation, what we have as well. I mentioned it when I was saying about the LGBTQI community, but not only as well. We have that is in cisgender straight relationships or around society as well. Gender is different with sexuality. The gender identity, I think that we are like how many? 7 billion, maybe more, like in this world. I think we all have different genders. I think we can all have have different sexualities as well. I'm very open. I'm very open to hear someone else's story about how they fell in love, because what they got attracted from. Another topic which is very important, and it links very well about what you said now, that maybe some girls, which I disagree with this idea, want the perfect looks. It's another factor of it's called toxic femininity. It's not so much popular as the toxic masculinity, but it's still there. It's outside. Mothers are still raising their sons in order to be the prince, in order to be the strong one, in order to be the person who is going to bring the money on the table and secure the house and have the greatest job of ever. And they're depressing them.
It's problematic, yeah.
They're raising boys or people that identify himself as people that they will be depressed.
Yeah.
Very sad. Sisters, siblings, girlfriend, wives, friends, the workplace, the whole society.
Yeah.
Everywhere we can find this toxic femininity as well. From the dates as well.
Yeah.
Toxic femininity, the girls sometimes, some of the girls, because of the patriarchy, again, it's not of the fault, it's because of the society made them, what they've learned, they made them think that the guy has to pay on the first date or the second date, or they have to have a job.
No, it's similar with the body. They might think, oh, this person needs to have a nice body, otherwise he can't be my boyfriend.
Exactly.
It's the same, yeah.
If he doesn't cook, or if he doesn't have like this specific, bank account statement, this is toxic femininity, and it's really connected with toxic masculinity as well, because these things like interact with each other. It's bad. It's very bad for all of them. If you have a thinking that you're gonna go out in society and you're gonna think that because I'm a man, I have to give more to the girl or the other man, because we're gonna talk about LGBTQ plus relationships as well. You don't have to be the one that provides. No, we live in the future. You don't have to be the one that provides. I think this is as clear as it gets.
Yeah.
But everywhere, obviously, in the society. Another topic where we're coming across toxic masculinity, as we said, everywhere. It's very connected. It affects our way of living, and it affects not only the older generations, but the generations that will be coming. As we said, patriarchy and religions and cultures are so deeply rooted inside us that it will be so difficult. That's why we're doing this podcast, in order to educate a little bit better, I think, and talk about it. So another topic that I have on my notes. Men or people who identify as he himself struggle with it. I would like to hear your experience as well, but for me as well, we are struggling because I didn't say in the beginning, but I identify as he himself. I struggle with feelings, I struggle with appearance, the social work status with my co-workers, personal relationship. Because of toxic masculinity, I struggle with all those stuff, because I'm thinking, I want to wear a pearl necklace, but some woman, my sister, is going to say this is for female. You cannot wear that because you're a man. No, I want to wear it.
Of course,
I want to dye my hair. I want to have long hair down the floor because I like it. It's not a woman's.
No, it's not.
It doesn't have to be. You can dress however you like. You can talk about your feelings. You can cry. You can use therapy. You can do all those stuff. It doesn't mean nothing that you are a guy.
No.
Or a person that identifies as he himself. I'm going to talk about personal experience. Because of the creative side of I have in things, since a very young age, I have these androgynous, let's say, look a lot of the times. Androgynous for someone, for me, for the society.
Yeah.
For me, it was always what I liked, what I wanted to do. So my family, my dad, my mom were so used to see me with wigs, with costumes, with more feminine stuff. It doesn't mean that they were taking it nicely. They were like bad situations, but as we grow and we learn from the society, and we learn what is it that we want, we see that if he's wearing a wig, it doesn't mean that he's a cross gender. That means something bad in the society for some people. No, it means that they just want to wear a wig, just maybe because they're doing it because it's their work, but because it feels good. It's different. It doesn't have to. We don't have to label people. That's what I'm going to say. And we should feel more open and to embrace other people do like that. Our friends, our colleagues at work. If because we all we should pay more attention, I think, to stuff that people are saying to us. A colleague the other day told me that they were struggling about what they're gonna buy a gift to their girlfriend. Just ask them. Life is more easier.
Just ask them. I don't give a shit. Just ask them.
Sorry. Just ask them, or just give them the money if it has to be a present. I don't know. Like, we don't have to complicate stuff, but speak, communicate what you're feeling. If you feel
that could come into maybe not toxic masculinity, but he could be nervous that he wants to get her something that she likes because there are all other boyfriends getting other things for their girlfriends. And he might be comparing himself to his mates.
Exactly.
Things like that, or things you see on social media.
Did you have experience like that? Like
with
having
my girlfriend?
Not with specific one now, but in general, this idea that you want to be better from the other boyfriend.
I think being at college is where it hit me a lot. When people were starting, you're growing up, people are going out more, getting with girls. And if you had a night out where you wouldn't get with someone, it was a bit like, what's wrong with you? And that like generally became a thing. Like on a night out after college or whatever, if you're not getting with someone, it's like, what happened? It's like almost like a fail of a night. I'm out of that. But like back then, because everyone was like that and that was everyone's mentality, it was like no way out. It's just like that was the norm. But now I'm old and I've learned a lot. I've like, what an idiot. Like, just go out and have fun. But that's I think college for me was when toxic masculinity like really hit, sort of thing. But yeah, I
think it's about as well thinking of what are others going to say. What others is going to say is very key in the toxic masculinity game, and about the way that people walk a certain way, people that men, people that identify as he himself, chew the gum a certain way, make compliments the certain way, be afraid of saying something that a straight guy wouldn't say. No, say whatever, as long as it doesn't hurt the feelings of someone, where the freedom of someone ends, someone else continues. It starts. That's what you have to have in mind. As long as you're not hurting something, there's not a problem if you compliment a girl about their jacket. It doesn't mean you're less of a guy. No. So we talked about that. Something else, I had this conversation with my sister. A few months ago in the UK, I was reading an article, and it was about a teacher who assaulted a young boy. It was a male teacher as well, identified as he himself, and the boy was at the age of 8 years old, who might or might have not identified as he himself. We don't know. We don't know at this moment the full length of the sexuality of a kid. The kid can know deep inside, but is still the kid is not aware. When you are a kid and you are an adult, an adult taking advantage of a kid of that age is just an advantage. The kid doesn't have like authority, I don't know, of their feelings 100%. They don't know 100% that good or bad. So I was reading this article and I was saying how much, I said that before, but how important is that people, parents, they should, we were during the summer we were reading about different stuff. Protect your daughter, educate your son. I saw that a million times. Educate your son, educate your son, educate your son. What do you mean just educate your son? Your son or your boy, the man, your brother, your father needs protection as well. You need to take care of them as well. You need to, if they are a young boy, you need to teach them the right ways before, as we said in the beginning, kindness and politeness to everyone. Not because he's a guy, a boy, he can go out and do whatever or be unprotected.
I think, I genuinely agree with you. But I think that came up with when it must have been maybe around the Sarah Everard incident. I think that's when it came up. I think there was a lot of things surrounding women. That's why people were putting educate your son.
Yeah, but why? Why educate your son?
Because I think it was because it was men that were doing the crimes mostly.
Yeah, but why the men were doing the crimes? Why? Because the society taught them this way. Why? Because their father taught me this way. Why? Because the mates, like the college, as you said, the mates were going to argue. Why we have like the spikes? Obviously, it's just more obvious now because the society is opening again, bars, clubs, and stuff like that. That we have like spikes. Why you have to spike a girl in order to go with her? Is that make you a man then? Because you're going to spike her in order to go to the bed or do something else to her or do bad to her. The boys, the younger self of us are thinking, maybe this is the only way that I'm gonna get her or whatever I want by doing what I've learned to be this animal that they've told me. No, we should take care of the son, the boy as well. Because if we take care of the son as well, the educate your son part would never happen. Right? Because it's a whole circle. And as we said, it's not the victim problem. It's never the victim's problem or fault. But
so educate and protect both.
Exactly. But we are focusing on younger boys as well. It doesn't mean that it has like any less priority for older. Age is a number, but like for older men as well. If we see someone in pain or if we see someone last time, this is my own experience, but it happened as well very recently, and I didn't have this image in my eyes. My dad cried next to me and helped me. I've never seen him before in my life crying. And it was because he didn't saw me for a long time. It was because he was missing me. He wanted to say stuff to me that he wanted to take out, But imagine, like in my whole life, I don't remember my dad crying.
I think that's quite a common thing with people's fathers. They've never really seen them.
Or they don't get attached to their kids. They're afraid like to kiss their kids. Now, as we see younger generations, it's better that we see couples and families that they're more open about like sharing the feelings and everything and educating. But that is still at the same time, and not only on this culture but other cultures as well, I see that family is very distant. They shouldn't. They should be expressing the family feelings. They should be talking about everything that are concerning them. So don't get afraid. Like talk about everything you want.
Is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up, sort of thing?
Like as we said before, because it can be a little bit, now we're talking a little bit too much about different stuff. and it's a lot of information. But as we said before, you're not less of a man if you dress in pink or you have like long hair or whatever is like more feminine for the society or for some people's ideas. Because believe me or not, like I still see stuff every day and I hear stuff that, oh, this is too girly, you cannot do it anymore, or too feminine, you cannot do it anymore. The connected topic about the LGBTQ plus community is that, and maybe some people think that is not the case, toxic masculinity is very much so part of the gay community as well.
Yeah.
And it's very damaging as well, because over there as well, maybe there are like less of feelings sometimes. So maybe because there are people who have learned to be defended and to have like a defensive amina about stuff, they can be like more angry about society in different ways. So they can be more harsh. So we need to be very much careful about this. All bodies and all sizes and all beauties are beautiful. We just need to know and appreciate them and not take the bad habits of years before transform to something even worse in our personal relationships. And I think, as like concluding, like ending this topic, I think what we have to do in order like to fight, like educate more about toxic masculinity, how we can fight is first educate, like watching like stuff like that, listening to podcasts like that, learning more stuff, do your own research, because we just said a few stuff only. Have an open mind about everything in life. Life is broad. We learn every day. As we said before, discuss about your feelings. Use therapy. It's a broad word we have nowadays more than everything. You can just pick up a phone, text a message. You can get help. Even if you are a man, person, or identifies he himself. It's very important. We say it doesn't matter the gender. Talk to younger people in your family. Correct people. As I've tried now, because you made the statement that it wasn't correct in my ethics, for example, I tried to correct you. We're making a conversation still. We don't fight, we're still friends. We can call people out first if we are safe, always safety first. But we can call out toxic masculinity in our workplace, in the road, wherever we can. As long as we are safe, we can call it out. It's very important. And what I want to say is like toxic masculinity will exist. You don't have to exist in it. You don't have to be part of it anymore if there are things that happening and you want to change. You can definitely change it today. I think that's what I want to say.
Nice, lovely. Well, thank you for sharing your personal experiences, and I've learned a lot. And I agree with everything that you've said. So and
it was really interesting to hear about some of your experiences as well.
Thank you. Well, if you want to follow KD on Instagram, I'll put your Instagram in the description.
You can do. Thank you.
If you want to ask him anything, maybe get in his DMs, ask him anything. Or share feedback with him if you don't want to.
Share the feedback, please. Because it's always like, what I'm trying to do is like evolve and learn more stuff. That's why a part of doing that, expose myself.
Exactly,
So, please feel free. If you think that something that I said or if you that I have in a certain point is not correct, or maybe I should learn more about, obviously, message me and I would like to know, definitely.
But definitely give him a follow. And subscribe, follow, all of that jazz. And if you want to come on, talk about your things, let's talk about things. So, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.